Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Pixel Painter Challenge. And I've been thinking about what we've been doing last time with the filling, where the fill shape didn't really work because of the edges. And then I said, well, we have to really start with edges. So if you remember correctly, we were actually just looking at which one was highlighted and then just toggling on and off the highlight or the shape mode, whether you're inside the shape or outside the shape. This was so we would only have to go over the grid once. And it was easy because we're reusing something that Unity already knows, mainly what is already highlighted, but that didn't work. I was thinking about this, and if you actually think about it conceptually, if I quickly draw a shape. Okay, so this one, I should have turned thing off. How do you know, or how do you as a person know what is inside of the shape? Well, I mean, of course, we look at the lines and we see how they're connected and stuff, and it's very difficult. Okay, the next phase, how would you actually color it? Well, coloring is the exact same thing. You start at one point, you start at the edge or the segment, and you go all the way up to the next one, and that's how you color it in. That's just how we do it. We just fill it in between edges until we meet a point, until we start at one part of the edge, or we start at one edge, we go horizontal until we meet the other edge. Or you can go vertical, but vertical is for the wrist more difficult to do, so we don't do that, of course. So that's how it works. You just color it in, and that's exactly what I try to do with my application. Exactly what I try to do with my algorithm is that you just find the point. You're not in the shape, not in the shape. Okay, here actually the edge starts, and then you just color it until you're at the other point. It's like, well, no, this is where the which is another edge. Here I stop, and then, well, as a person, of course, we would go back because again, ergodynamics of the wrist. But the application, of course, it's easier to not lift your pencil. Um, but the application will just continue, of course, and we say like, oh, well, here actually is another edge again, and then I will color this as well. So where does it fail? It fails with edges that are on the actual line. Oh, it seems I've clicked. That's not good. How come I? Anyway, so where does it go wrong? Well, it actually goes wrong on a segment that is along the line on which you're scanning. We are scanning vertically for some reason because I made a mistake because I said X and then I said Y and then not knowing this X and this is Y, so I keep the X constant first and then I change the Y. So I mean, like, that's basically what I do. I should have gone Y X, but honestly, it doesn't really matter too much. I can easily swap it up um, by just saying, and I can actually show you this. Just have to be a bit careful. So this is X. Yeah, that's Y. And if I turn it off, turn it back on, and then I will have the exact same issue, but now in horizontal lines. And so where does it go wrong? It goes wrong when we are looking at in this case, a horizontal line, specifically a horizontal line that has an odd number of points. So this would be fine as 4. This is 5. So this will go wrong. See, why does this go wrong? Because again, here we start. And so my algorithm thinks that this is an edge, a segment, and then it tries to color it. And so it starts coloring here, and it stops coloring here. And then there were a lot of these extra things, whether it's highlighted and whatever. If it's highlighted, then I have to color it anyway, and those kind of things. And then I said, okay, well, I really have to look at the edges, and I have to keep that to account, and I have to exclude the ones that are in the direction which I'm painting, and all those kind of things. But I was thinking now, not necessarily, because thinking of the first part, how do you know what is inside of your shape? That's a bit more tricky because how do you know that like a certain edge, which side is on the inside, which is the outside? if you think about it, we just see it. It's not really anything we really think about. You get taught it and you start to, you learn to just visually understand, see. It's difficult to explain. But what I think partially the truth is that we actually can see, if we look at the edges, we can see the contained area easily because we also look at the outside of the page and we see, well, there's no edge here. And it's very easy if you have a, let's try again. If I make an edge like this, then, well, now of course you don't know anything about it, which shape, which side is the inside, which is the outside. Even now you could say like, well, I assume this will be the inside, but you don't know because I can go back around and whatever. And so if I would make the shape like this, how do you know this is the inside? Well, it's actually very easy because you see like this is the edge of the paper, I'm gonna call it. And you say, well, there is nothing, there's nothing here, no line here, so this can't be the inside because it has to be contained by lines, and there just aren't any lines from the beginning, so this has to be the inside. So knowing that this is a full shape, if you know that the page contains a completely closed shape, then actually all you need to know what side of this line is the inside is to know whether there is a line on the other side. So I mean, like I can see there's no line on this side of the edge, so I know this must be the inside. Conversely, of course, I can also look at the other side and I can say like, well, definitely there is a line here, there's a line here. I mean, like I can't freely go to the edge of the page, no matter where. If I'm like on this thingy, then I'm always enclosed by a line and not on the other thingy, on the other side. So again, thinking to three, yeah, this might be a problem. Okay, so thinking again, like if I want to start painting here, then of course I could say like, well, I'm not gonna start painting here. Why would I start painting here? Because this is a segment. It's a line. But of course, based on just highlights as markers, I don't know that this is a line. I mean, like I have the information with points and stuff, but it's difficult to trace it back. So I was just thinking, what I can do is I can start at one point and I can go and look for the beginning of a line. If I find one, aha, what do? I do the opposite from the back. And I go and I find the other one here. And then I can say, okay, and now I'm gonna start painting. So whether I paint this one or not, it's a bit of another discussion, and it might be difficult with the whole highlighting part with multiple parts like on, off, on, off, on, off. Because I think what was it now? Like, okay, if this is highlighted, then we toggle and we say we go to shape mode, and if we're highlighted over the shape mode, then we fill it. So this will always work. But so here this will be turned on, we're in the shape. Here we'll say look, we're out of the shape, and here we say oh, we're in the shape, and so here we stay in the shape. And that's wrong because we're not in the shape. So what my plan now is that is maybe let's forget about the highlighted parts and let's only fill the things inside of the highlighted parts. Like this, for instance, here we say like, okay, I see this is highlighted. So, okay, then on the next one, I toggle and I say we're in the shape. Yeah, we're still in the shape. I see this one and I say like, well, we're not in the shape anymore. So I toggle it again. So then I only color really the inside and the highlighted part. I will do that on a separate pass through, or I will do that up front. Of course, it would be better if I can do it immediately. Why? Because I actually can do that immediately as well. But then after I've determined whether or not to color the shape based on the highlighting or not. Why is that easier? Because then I don't have to go through the grid twice. I would go through the grid once to fill the middle, and then I have to go through it once again to confirm the highlighted area, which is the highlights actually, and paint that part as well. That's weird. Well, it's not weird, it's just not needed. It's obsolete, it's stupid. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But so, like, why would we have to go start from the back? And that's to solve this one. Because here, if you say that, okay, well, this is a point, it's highlighted, so I'm gonna flip shape mode. I'm not gonna color this, or maybe I will color this. And here, it's like, well, this is highlighted again, so I'm gonna be outside of the shape. Yeah, and here if I'm saying inside the shape, well, that's inside or outside the shape, as I said. It depends really on whether there is still something to come. Here, you can say like, well, I'm inside the shape. Why? Because there is this line, there is this point, and that's where this comes in. So here I'm saying like, okay, I want to go inside the shape, but I need to know, are you really inside the shape? Here as well, I'm gonna go inside the shape. Are you really inside the shape? So I go from the other side and I say like, oh, I found the highlighted point. Well, the highlighted point is definitely bigger, or the X section is bigger than this one. So yes, we are inside the shape. And then the next point, then I will say like, oh, well, I find this point. So now we're outside the shape, so I don't really care what happens with it because I see highlight points. Okay, I assume we're outside the shape. And the next point, I say like, oh, we're gonna go back inside the shape and then check it. And I see like, well, no, actually, this is the exact same point, so we're not gonna go inside the shape. We stay outside the shape. This is just an outside point. Why is that important? That you toggle as well is if you have a shape that goes a bit like this, maybe. So here you would say, not very good, but okay. Here you would say, okay, I'm going to go inside the shape, but can we really go inside the shape? Well, you go here, pop, 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 pop. You find this point because you start from the highest one, and you say, yes, okay, I can go inside the shape. I find another highlight to say, okay, well, I'm going to be outside the shape, so I don't color this part. I want to go inside the shape again. Am I allowed? Yes, because I find this point. And then go here and say, okay, outside the shape, and that's fine. Same here, inside the shape, allowed. I have this point, yes. Okay, so inside the shape, find another highlighted point. I say, okay, outside the shape. Again here, inside shape, allowed, yes. Okay, yes. Why? Yes, because I have this point. So basically, if I want to go inside the shape, I have to look for the highest point, and then I know it's is it perfect? Well, I'm not so sure, but it's like a bit conceptually what you do. Alternatively, what you can also do, of course, is, but that would be needed for every found, is like I would say, like, hey, I want to go inside the shape, so I already look ahead. Is there a next highlighted point? And I say yes, okay. Then I fill those. That's something I guess what you can also do, but I'm not sure if the how is fill tile map set color. I'm not sure if the tile map set color can take more. Why am I not getting any? I'm trying to. Tile map does not exist. What do you mean tile map does not exist? Small m, I guess. Yeah. It would also be possible if he actually takes multiple locations, but he does not positions. And besides, then I would have to split them out. I would have to. Yeah, it's too difficult. So the idea of just immediately looking at the last one is it's not lost. It's not a wasted effort. Here, it would be wasted effort. Well, yes, a bit. Here it wouldn't be. Why? Because I can immediately stop here. The only problem is I need to remember whether I already looked for one. I actually can do that. Actually, I can do that. I can do that first. So what I can do, instead of just going to grid size X, I can say I can look for max X. Let's say 4. Exactly this one, but reverse. So we don't start at minus grid size X. Probably grid size X minus 1, I assume. Do we have to be grid size minus 1? I think so. And as long as this is larger than minus grid size X, larger than or equal, minus X. And you say int max highlighted equals grid size X. Okay, I'm gonna quickly take a break. I have to go. But I'll be back soon.